And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original movie, Trollhunters Rise of the Titans. This is going to be finishing off the entire three series that we've had that has been an interconnected story. Now we have one final feature animated film. And I'm going to be talking non-spoilers, so don't worry about that. Let me know in the comments below which has been your favorite of the three series so far and who is your favorite character. Let's jump into it. The heroes from the Trollhunter series team up with an epic adventure to fight the Arcane Order for control over the magic that binds them all. Whenever I start watching any of the Trollhunters series, depending on what it is, it just reminds me of the original first series where we had the voice of Anton.
9-5. Victor 2.
And it just makes me a little bit sad and a little bit emotional because we had such a great actor voicing our main protagonist who became the Troll Hunter, and so there's an emotional attachment for me for this original character right from the beginning. So maybe I am a little bit biased when it comes to the rest of the story, but I've thoroughly enjoyed this universe that's being created for us. Guillermo del Toro's imaginative brain is obviously, it's not just him, but he is a very large part of the creation behind this. And so we have a feature film, like a love letter for the fans. And I think you're really going to embrace this. I think you're really going to enjoy this because it really feels like they've thrown all their budget, all their imagination that they've had to bring about the end and a fruition that I feel like was really clever and also will just feel right. So the story almost comes full circle, and you'll understand that when you get to watch the film. But you get to see all the characters that you've kind of enjoyed and been introduced you, some that there'll be some surprises, and they do kind of fast forward certain relationships to get to the moments where maybe they might have thought, okay, we've been building up certain relationships quite slowly over the series, and maybe they thought that we're going to have one more series, but there were a couple of times during the feature where suddenly certain relationships were fast forward. There's not a negative, I just thought, oh, that's a jump, I knew they were going to get there, but they seem to get there quickly. It's like in a book, you're writing a journey and someone is going to go from one port to one port. Instead of writing about the journey, how they get there, they are just there and saying, oh, we've done that now. And so I understood, because there are certain plot points that needed to kind of tell in the story very quickly. So we have the Arcane Order, and it's basically like almost three story arcs of various parts of our team, of Jim's team, on little routes, on little adventures to kind of stop the Arcane Order from reimagining how Earth should be according to them, because they think humans have just not done a great job with it, and so they're not willing to listen to reason, and they're going to reshape it. And so now it's up to our team from all three series to come together and just do that. And so we get an hour of 50 minutes of glorious animation, and it really feels like they've really honed that 3D animation that they at the beginning they were kind of getting to grips with it, but you can definitely see the improvement. There's a letter that the PR people like us or critics and movie reviewers got from the creators, and talking about how much time and how many years they've been crafting this 3D imagery specifically to this series, and how for the film they had hundreds of artists really kind of pouring their heart out. And so I feel like you really get to see that on screen. Although vibrant and really colorful, Arcadia, the Wizards one, was one of my favorite. I really enjoyed that storyline. But one of the things I've always enjoyed, when it comes to the fight sequence, there was always a point or a reason for that fight sequence to be had. There was always consequences for the actions of our heroes. So there just wasn't a get out of clause free card. They didn't have the get out of jail free card when there's something going wrong and it's like, I know, I'm just going to have a magic stone. That didn't always work that way, especially when they were using magic. There's always like a consequence for that, and you feel that in this film, although it's non-stop action pretty much for the hour and 50 minutes, and I think all ages are going to really enjoy this. There are consequences, and it always feels like our heroes are just underhanded. They're like the bottom rung. They're super powerful, but against the Arcane Order, they're just may as well be fleas in the back of their worries, but they try as they might because they're heroes. They still are learning. They still are going through that hero, what it means to be a hero, the consequences are, understanding all of that. And along for the ride is the music and the score that is just so much bigger. Like if you enjoyed the score, it was always great in the series, but because they've had like an extra injection of time and space to really develop kind of the themes and tones that they're going for in their film, some of those crescendos and heightened adventure modes with like big brass moments or horns that you really want to get like a big adventure moment as explosions on screen, giant enemies. The music kind of reflects that, and it's really enjoyable. It goes in tandem with the character of the film and what the characters are doing rather than just being in your face. There is a particularly annoying, really deep bass tone, and if you have your bass up on your surround sound, I would suggest turning it down somewhat. I had to do it mine because it was like resonating within my skin, but they really went through it. They went for it. So between the score hitting those moments and our actors, which we have a cornucopia of really great actors. I'm not going to list all of them. There would be too many to name, but Kelsey Grammer, he's one of the names in here that just does so much with his voice. There's rich nuances that you can get those emotional flexions because of, the tried and tested acting experience that Kelsey, like someone like Mr. Grammer, brings to the screen. His days from X-Men, his days from Fraser, bringing all of that experience with him and portraying that into the characters that he's been playing for quite a while now. And we get that through all our actors. I don't think there's a weak link in any of them. And we get a lot of comedic surprises as well. So although it's intense a lot of the time, they do break it up for maybe our younger viewers who might be like, whoa, this is really intense. I don't know how I can take on all of this. This is a lot coming on at me. And maybe that is a negative. I would suggest they throw a lot at you. It doesn't really stop at all. We get some of those moments where Toby is cracking a joke that doesn't quite work, but it's funny because of that. Or, something weird and wacky will happen in the story that will keep you off guard. I will say, if you have really young ones that have been watching with you, because it's the end of the story, all cards are on the table and they can do what they want with their characters. So bear that in mind. If they're emotionally engaged and they're easily hurt by their friends getting hurt, that their friends on screen getting hurt, then I would suggest you be with them and help to console them as things go awry, as a lot will go awry for our friends. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought this was fantastic. Excuse me sweating so much. We're having a heat wave in the UK at the moment, and I'm in my studio. It's at least 30 degrees outside, and inside is another 4 to 5 because we just kind of absorb the heat in this room. So I'm just sweating profusely, ready to get out of this room as quick as I can. But I wanted to get this review out and to say definitely put it on your watch list if you were wanting a conclusion to the story, but were worried that they were going to do it justice. They have done it justice, and it's just a fantastic adventure ride. Stick it on the biggest screen you have with the loudest surround sound system you have, and just grab some popcorn and really enjoy it. I think you're probably watching it a couple of times. There's got some questions as to whether there might be a way for them to continue the story. So we can talk about that in another video. But for now, it feels completely nicely wrapped up in a very satisfying way. Our characters all get enough screen time that you enjoy seeing them, and you always are worried for them. It doesn't feel like they have plot protection, which I think is a good thing. The consequences feel real in this animation story with an adventure that we've been enjoying going on for quite a while now. So let me know your thoughts. Once you've seen it, what was your favorite moment? What was your unexpected moment? If you're going to do spoilers, do the ... thing and do spoilers, because there are definitely a few to be had. Quite a few surprises in this. I think that was very enjoyable. Very well crafted and edited story. They put a lot in here. That would be my only negativity. I would have liked maybe a bit more slowed down pace, more story without characters, but that would have changed the whole feel of the film that they were going for. So I really loved what we got, but I understand some people might have a negativity towards it because there's a lot coming at you story-wise all the time in between the action sequences. For now, I'm actually going to give this a solid A. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.